Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. I'm Sarah Jane. This is Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls on Gift of Healing TV, and I am delighted to be joined by Mahalia Michael this evening for this Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls. And thank you to all of you who've joined us already for this. Our topic is the heart-brain connection. Mahalia has been on with us before. She shared about her brain bliss. And if you want to read a little bit and get the link, then it's on the website at the moment as we are recording this live on Gift of Healing TV on the About Us page. But we're not going into all of that. We're going into our topic because we're going into a little bit of fun sharing on the heart-brain connection because this is a really important connection to me. Our heart should be our guide. And for me, it's our brain helping to make our heart choices happen. Mahalia.
Yes. Hello, Sarah Jane. Thank you so much for having me again to exchange this beautiful topic with you, to share with the viewers about the heart-brain connection. And I've realized through my work and through evolving through my transformation and recovering my brain, that as my brain recovered from my multiple traumas, that I really had to recover my heart. It felt like it was broken, and it really was. It needed a lot of soothing, and I did a lot of vocalizing, a lot of sounding from my heart to release the heavy emotions from the past. And as I did that, my heart and brain began to communicate a lot better, and I had, just that stronger intuition. The thing I like to share with people is there are neurons in the heart, about 40,000. So the heart is an actual brain, and it has instant communication, instant signals and pathways to the brain, and also the digestive system, the gut. So the freer our heart is, the happier our heart is and healthy, the more we will have quicker, faster, healthier connections to our brain, and vice versa. It goes both ways.
Oh, absolutely. And I've shared for quite a while that it's just like, I suppose I've put it into a business way of describing it, that our heart is the CEO of our life. Mm. And our brain, our mind, has been the accountant of our life because they are so wary.
They have been.
And so our brain, the mind aspect of our brain has been created to keep us safe. Mm. And it's about changing that. We're adults now, and it is about changing that to our mind, our brain becoming the personal assistant to our soul, to our heart, the personal assistant to our heart, to help make our heart choices happen. Mm. And so what we're doing is we're giving our brain, our mind, a much happier, more fulfilling role. It's still keeping us safe, but what actually it's doing, it's working to give us that happy, joyful, experiential life that we're here to have.
Yes, it reminds me of the dolphins and how playful and loving and joyful they are. And in fact, I call the prefrontal cortex, the forehead area, the angelic dolphin brain. And so therefore, it can be the assistant to remind and connect with the heart around joy. And as you were talking, Sarah, about safety, so the primal lower brain, or some people call it the reptilian or dinosaur brain, is the one that really is working to keep us safe and alive in every moment. And sometimes people can get stuck in habits or repeat patterns based on the survival mechanism and how it affects the nervous system. So through humming, through sounding, is a great way to help us rise into our higher brain, the high neocortex. And when we do that, then that higher brain actually does become the conduit to serve the light of the heart, which in medical terms, the light, the original spark of us, is called the bundle of His deep in our heart. And it's a bundle of nerve fibers that run on electrical current. So the more voltage and electricity we have going through our heart, and the more access to our higher brain, we access higher consciousness and higher intelligence. And then we can project it from this angelic dolphin brain. So we begin to see the world as light and as more playful, joyful, safe, naturally safe, and more fun. And there's just more freedom when we have those dots connected. Like for me, back years and let's say close to 10 years ago now, when I had to really work to recover my brain from the concussions, I really lived in that survival mode and the fear mode because I was stuck down in the primal brain area. So as my brain healed, also my heart opened more. So my heart and our hearts and the people watching, the heart is the representation of the world around us and what we're creating. And the Heart Math Institute has done a lot of study and research on the power of the heart, and apparently they've studied and measured it as being 5,000 times more powerful than the brain at transmitting signals or energy out into the world. So if we're feeling love and we're feeling happiness, we're feeling like the dolphins, just really joyful and playful, that's going to go out into the world and will reflect back to us, will attract more goodness from that vibration.
And that makes so much sense, because I'm thinking about the trauma that I went through as a very young child that left me. It was more than one thing, but the main one was the scolding that hospitalized me for 3 months, and that included my first birthday. So I was very, very young. Mm. But with a couple of things that then happened after that as well, it left me feeling, and I must have lived nearly 40 years in my reptilian brain, because it was don't love, can't get hurt.
Oh.
And it was feeling unwanted, unloved, not good enough, not worthy. You every single negative word you can find, that's how I lived my life. So from what you were just saying, and how many other people have gone through trauma, and they have, in their own way, they felt that negativity about themselves. It doesn't have to be identical to what happened to me or to you, but in their own way. And they've got, if you like, gone back into themselves. They've got stuck in their brain, and they've not disconnected from their heart, but they have disconnected from their heart, which is not a happy, and it's a very unhappy place to be.
Oh, it is. It is. And if we look at the rate of people dealing with depression and all kinds of ailments and physical issues, I feel that is a big part of the disconnect from the brain and heart, and it is a big part of unresolved trauma and the vibration of the what I call shadow frequency that emanates from these unresolved and unseen traumas that will affect our connection to the heart. So we need our heart, we need the brain, we need them together, married and happy and working. So there are millions of people that have had head injuries that were undiagnosed or untreated. And, you know, it's not just head injury, like for you, Sarah Jane, with having that horrific burn at a young age, that alone, yes, can, as you've just said, for 40 years, can set that primal brain up to create those negative thoughts and can create the repeat cycle that wouldn't allow you to let that love in and let the love out. So I'm so happy that what you did, the path you chose and the work you've done on yourself to free yourself and now offer this amazing program to help others. And that's my purpose in creating Brain Bliss, was when I realized that I was living with that and that I really was stuck in a looping pattern and I didn't know how to find the keys to get out of what it felt like a prison. When I finally did release myself using light and sound, so neurofeedback, but also swimming in the wild, hearing the sounds of the whales and dolphins being transmitted to and being amplified by their frequency, was when I could actually now see this trauma or shadow frequency and able to make sounds with my own voice, produce an amount of light and voltage to clean away that shadow and let the person's inner light start to fire up again and get energized again, This is the same with the heart. So that bundle of hiss, the spark, needs to clear those heavy emotions like sadness, grief, anger, rage, frustration, you name it, anything that a human can feel. How we hold on to it is a big part of how we reflect out into the world. But if you look at animals in nature, like a lion will roar, or a bear will roar, dogs will bark. Animals generally, not all animals make sound, but most of them do when they're feeling an emotion. The sound is what comes out of them in order for it to not to stay in their body. Now, this is the gift that we have as humans as well. And this is what I teach in my Brain Bliss programs and when I'm working one-on-one with people. And when people start to find their voice and liberate those heavy emotions from the heart then starts to brighten. The regenesis in the body, like the power to have more health, vitality, and well-being, starts to communicate naturally in the body, because it's our birthright to have good flow and good energy. So therefore, we clear the heart and the brain starts to find new neural pathways. It starts to make new connections, and we start to think more clearly, have more focus. Memory can start to come back. I mean, I don't make any promises or guarantees about my work at all. And I always recommend people to work with their medical professional. However, just based on results with people, I've seen how much love they feel after just a little bit of new good energy and good voltage, light and sound. And then when they feel good, they start to love themselves more. I've had clients say how they used to walk by a mirror and look at themselves and have negative thoughts towards themselves. And now they walk past a mirror and just love and adore themselves. And that is the best news for me. That is awesome.
I love it when a sort of client, you see the client when they walk in the room, and when they walk out, you can just see from their whole body language that it's a totally different person that walks out than walks into the room. And we both work with sound energy because I work with toning. I refer to it as the connecting with the inner child and the healing the trauma of the inner child. It's the same. And you talk about the spark in your heart. And I very much, if you like, work with the flame within my heart, which of course, that's exactly what it is. You know, we may term things slightly differently. And I certainly haven't gone into the depths of the biology, in spite of the fact to learn some of the things I've learned. I had to do my anatomy and physiology. I learned enough to pass and then forgot it all. Some of the things,
remember.
Yes, I heard that. but it is about realizing that actually it is okay to feel, but it is also okay not to take on board what other people think, what other people say, other people's beliefs. We are totally allowed to be our individual amazing being that we are, and it is so much better. I'm trying to think what the saying is. It's don't die a copy or something. Be an original because everybody else is taken.
Yeah.
But it is about giving ourselves permission to get out of the reptilian brain and to get into that section of our mind and our brain, which allows that heart-brain connection.
Very much. And what I love about you doing this show or these interviews with different people, including myself, is it gives information out there to people that need it. Because even for me, I didn't even know I was living in my reptilian brain. I had no clue. I just thought I was dealt a really bad deck, even though I had amazing parents and I had an incredible childhood. It didn't add up. Nothing made sense as to why I was suffering so deeply. And then the habits of that primal brain and how it can create fears and phobias and trick us. I call it the imposter. And it does make us think or believe certain things that are not true. and can create a lot of extra trauma and drama. But the fact is that I didn't even know that I was stuck down there. So just, sharing this conversation, hopefully people will realize that if they are struggling, to know that there is other parts of the brain, even though it's just a cute little 3 pounds of gray matter, the brain itself is not big, but that there is a lot of complex activity going on, and we can, with light and sound, raise up our neural pathways, our neurotransmitters. We can create a new, fresh environment within the brain for mirror neurons as well. So how I share about what I do is I'm a reflector or a conductor of this inner light and sound. So my mirror neurons then reflect out to your mirror neurons, and they can also, just in the silent field, without even using words, liberate people's natural state or their inner fire flame. I love that you shared that. The threefold flame is the other term I call that inner bundle of hiss in the heart. So once people have that awareness and they give themselves permission and they say, okay, I can have a different outcome here. I don't have to stay in these patterns or cycles or keep repeating, that my brain is changeable. Science has now proven this. And that we're actually 99% energy and only 1% physical matter. So this body is only 1% of what we see. The 99% that's going on is the magic, and it's where we access the celestial world. It's where we access the stardust, the moon, the sun's energy, and we utilize it just like a plant would with photosynthesis in a way, but we're doing it on a much larger scale with the human body. So I invite people to really contemplate and receive in the love from nature, the adamantine particles, the colloids of light and life, the golden diamonds, to just the sparkle of energy that's up and around trees and leaves and flowers and birds, and listening to the birds sing and spending time in nature. That alone can really, it's called earthing. If someone just walked out on the grass in their bare feet, or hung by some, sat or stood by some trees and the roots of the trees, that can just boost them, a lot. And it's free energy. So definitely use that. I spend a lot of time in nature every day. So I encourage people to do that. And yeah, keep letting yourself have the choice that you can have more happiness, more bliss, or joy, contentment. It's, to me, the middle road. It's, some people, when they hear me say bliss, think, oh, it's all nirvana and ecstasy all the time. It's not that. It's actually a choice of, okay, now I know I don't have to go swing this other way where I was, which was a lot of struggle and challenges and difficulties. And then I swung way up into the bliss mode, and I got how that feels, and I got the endorphins, and I understand the biology behind it. So, but what the key is to just have this middle state of peace, or I love the word contentment, because it just means we're in non-reactivity. We are in the parasympathetic state, which is our, the central nervous system swings either in fight or flight mode, survival mode, or resting, digesting, healing, and nourishing. So my commitment to myself every day is to stay in a pleasure mode, meaning in a contentment mode, no matter what is going on around me. Still, I have to make choices. I have to make decisions about where I am at, who I spend time with, that kind of thing. But I'm very clear that my contentment is number one, because I know that then I'm not pumping adrenaline and cortisol through my body. I am working on my anandamide, my dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, my DMT, spirit molecule. And those are most important to me because they allow me to feel more health and vitality in my body, more satisfaction. They allow me to serve others as well.
And I think it's so important. You sort of talked about sort of where you were, and I was thinking it's very much about, we're in that pattern and we make the assumption, and I use that word deliberately, that we are stuck in that. That is what life is, and we just might as well get on with it. There is nothing we can do about it. And it's when that wake-up call comes Now, some of us get some very tough wake-up calls.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody listening to any of these programs could find their wake-up call by just listening to the stories, and they are true stories that people share. And it's just, and you don't have to have what we have in the way of wake-up call. Mine was to do with a broken jaw. 6 months of pain, sleepless nights. Boy, was that a wake-up call. Not fun at all. But I wouldn't change it for anything, because it was that wake-up call that I needed. And I don't know why, but it helped me to realize that actually, I suppose it was because I knew I couldn't cope anymore with the way I was. And I hadn't got the energy, because of the lack of sleep, to keep worrying about what other people think and doing what I thought other people wanted. I just hadn't got the energy to keep doing that. It was exhausting me.
Yeah.
And then slowly it came to me that, why am I worrying about what other people think? This is my life. And yes, I had to seek help. We all, very few people can do the whole thing on their own. I didn't do it all on my own. The outset was seeking help, and it was a psychotherapist. But then I found Reiki and metamorphic technique and the sound energy. The psychotherapy helped. It helped get the understanding. It helped me to make sense of what had been going on. That then helped me to be able to get into the heart aspect. And sometimes it has to be an element of brain work, of mind work, to be able to then connect with the heart and allow yourself to listen to it.
You are so sweet, Sara Jane. I'm just melting listening to you, and your accent and your story is so sweet. It's truly that listening to the heart and getting into a silent place of surrender and willingness, and to say, yes, I need help. And I've seen many people, be brought to their knees, because Spirit knows that, we get to a point, we have to tip over that point. It's no longer acceptable. We can no longer struggle and just be in survival. And so if people, or whoever's listening and watching this, and you're feeling at the end of your rope, just know that there is hope out there. There is energy that can serve you. There are people who can serve, and to let yourself rest. And generally what I've discovered is it invited me to have a very strong level of faith in the invisible world, in spirit, to be served, to know that I would be fed and have shelter as I was going through my healing and transformation. And I was looked after. I'm not saying it was easy. For some, hopefully it will be much easier than the road I was on and had to take. But I count over 100 different just brain treatments for my brain. That didn't include all of the other psychotherapy I did, the EMDR, all the rebirthing, the breath work, the acupuncture, acupressure, you name it. I tried everything. So the good news is now that with that willingness, and you say, yes, my heart, I love you. My heart, I love my life. To me, this life is so precious. We have this short amount of time on this planet to make the most of it. And I just, for me, like to get things done and be efficient, so that I can continue on this joy and continue experiencing what truly God created me for, and the God of your understanding. So if people are willing, the answers will come to them very quickly. That's the thing, is just say yes and surrender. And there is God, I believe the God of our understanding, I call it heavenly music. The heavens above us want us to have heaven on earth, want us to know what it means to have peace in our body, peace in our life, peace on earth. This is maybe sounds a bit like seeing the world through rose-colored glasses, which I kind of do. And I like that, because I believe that we can have that once people awaken from the primal brain mechanism, because of the there's been global trauma to uplift and release. So we start to lighten up in the brain. We start to rise up into the high neocortex. At the same time, the heart is being released of history, and the heart starts to glow and be more open. The world truly can look differently. And for me, the whales and dolphins, their love and their magic and their frequencies, they're here for humanity. They've always been here for us. They speak to us in the invisible realm. We don't have to be in the ocean with them to experience the love from the whales and dolphins. And if you think about it, the whales have the biggest heart in the world, up to 450 pounds. That heart is awesome and has so much forgiveness, so much compassion, and so much wisdom for us. So for me, when I connect with the whales and dolphins and I'm able to transmit them and share them with people who tune into Brain Bliss, that people feel like they're coming home. They're having that sense. And it also is giving them strength to work through those difficult parts where what I call is retracing. So people, if you were given enough energy in the body and have had significant traumas, whether it's dental trauma, whether it's brain, heart, body, physical scars, surgeries, all of that, that as the time, when the voltage comes and the energy comes, that people will retrace, which is going back in time in reverse order the body was ever hurt or traumatized, and the body starts to remember what it was like to be strong and healthy again. But it's a bit of a phase, right, that we kind of go through. It's a cleansing process. And when that starts to happen, that's a good sign. And I went through lots of retracing. So thank goodness, because now I feel like I'm fresh, like sort of new, like it's, I'm no longer a product of my history and my historical vibration. I'm more a product of the light and sound that is reflected and connected with the whales and dolphins and the ocean and nature. That's, I think, what we're all really meant for, is to be in that now moment, expressing this love and expressing compassion and expressing just support and higher intelligence, higher connection.
Yes, it is so much about, yes, we can do it. Yes, we can come out of it. And people like yourself, myself, and so many others, I believe we've chosen to have the experiences we've had to be able to bring the gifts that we bring that can actually help people to not have to go through everything we went through.
Yeah, let's stop.
But I love being out in nature. I've had a great connection with wolves, and physically actually being with them and sort of handling them, and it is the most amazing. What is it that speaks to each of you? What is it that you would like to do? Let yourself live your life. I can say it last year now because we've just got over the new year, but I was 60 last year, and okay, I didn't do anything with animals, but I was treated to being able to do a wing walk, and I was sort of treated to be able to do the mile-long zip wire that's in North Wales. It was about, yes, I am about experiencing different things in life and knowing that there is so much joy out there. Up there, it wasn't too high and it wasn't a cloudy day, but it was amazing. And doing that mile-long zip wire that was over in just under a minute,
Wow.
We can allow ourselves to have experiences when we step into, this is me, this is what I would like to do. I know loads of my friends said, no, we wouldn't do anything like that. But that's great. Go out and do what you'd like to. And that's what I'd say to folks. And you were talking about time, stepping back. And there's a lovely little quote here. I love picking these quotes up. Taking the time to do nothing often brings everything into perspective. And sometimes it is a matter of, I suppose that 6 months of pain and sleepless nights did give me, in its own way, that time to do nothing, to step back and realize that, you know what, life didn't have to be like that.
Mm.
We are coming close to the end of this. So, you know, and I hope that, yeah, we've had a lovely little group of people here, and lovely, thank for those who've made comments that they're happy to join you and to join us. Anything that you would like to share finally before we actually have to close this? And I hope this has spoken to people and got people to realize that actually there is this great connection between the two, and that when they work together, life can be so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thank you, Sara Jane. This has been so fun, and we could go on and on. I feel like just we're opening up a whole portal. But I just want to share with the people that if they want support right now, right away, that on SoundCloud, I have a guided visualization or meditation called Brain on Bliss, and that's complimentary. You can get it on my website, brain-bliss.com, under guided visualization. And also I do a free group call on the first of every month at 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's only 20 minutes. So on my website, it's under Free Bliss. I've been offering that now. This will be going into my 5th year of doing monthly free transmissions for anyone who knows that they've had trauma, who is ready to unravel and start to release that, and can come on every month as often as you like. So that phone number is on my website. And I just, love to be able to give back now. And after my recovery, and Sara Jane, you are giving back from your recovery. So that those also that are listening who have struggled, your gift is within you. And generally, like what Sara Jane said, it can come in difficult packages. But if we're willing to trust and have faith and be served, we will get through those difficult times. We're living proof, and that you will be able to then serve others as well and live your passion and live your bliss and happiness. So that's my wish for you. I thank you again, Sara Jane. It's been wonderful. I love you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining me. You will find not only Mahalia's interview that she did with us on giftofhealingtv.com, on the catch-up pages under interviews, and you'll find hers there and others there as well. There's a meditation section on the catch-up page. There's an exercise section. Go and help yourself. It's all free to watch. It's there. And then there's the thoughtful nuggets and pearls. There's over 80 of those up there. So go and help yourself to those. It's all free. It's all there for you to help you in whatever way works for you, to help you get that connection with yourself, to be able to live your life to the fullest. And that is what all these shares are about for me. Thank
you. Connect the brain.
Thank you. Next week, I'm going to be doing one on attitude. Treat every living being, including yourself, with kindness, and the world will immediately be a better place. There's an attitude of gratitude and kindness. I will be talking about attitude next week. Thank you for joining us, folks. If you want to get hold of Mahalia and you can't find her, just email me at giftofhealingtv@gmail.com. You'll find the website. There's some information up there about Mahalia at the moment. Go and find that. It's under her interview as well on YouTube, which you'll find the link to on the website. Just go and help yourself. It's what it is all there for. And free, folks. That information is where you go from there. It's up to you. And I hope this helps. I hope everything that we share helps you. And do let us know if there's anything you'd like us to share. We're happy to help when we can. In the meantime, folks, have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful 2019. And if you're watching in 2020, have a lovely year then as well. Whenever you're watching, have a great year. Love, peace, and light to you all. Namaste.
Namaste.